Yo, what is up, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video. I want to apologize as I start. I'm kind of sick, so if my voice sounds weird, that is why. But today, I wanted to go through and talk a little bit about some NBA award predictions. Now, it is way too early to be making these predictions. There's still a lot of offseason to happen between trades and still some pretty solid free agents out there on the market. There's always some injuries before the season. Fingers crossed there aren't any, but it usually happens. And so there's a lot of things still up in the air. So these are my way too early NBA award predictions. I'm going to go through, give you my MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, and Sixth Man of the Year. I wrote this up kind of in 15 minutes, so there are probably some candidates I'm not going to mention in this video, but I'll try to mention some of my top guys and who my current pick is to win each award. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you do enjoy this video. If there's someone I don't mention that you think could win the award, let me know in the comment section below, and also comment down below who at this point in the season, or off season I guess, is your award pick for each of these categories. We're going to go ahead and start off with Most Improved Player. This is always one of my favorites because I love seeing guys go from like star caliber player to all-star, or go from like role player to like star caliber. It's always so fun to see all the jumps that players make. So this is always one of the awards that I look to most during the season. And for this one, I think there are some pretty solid names. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the Thunder has the potential to make a kind of leap. Also, if the Thunder kind of start to find some like actual success in the regular season, maybe make the play-in, I definitely think he could get some consideration. Other young guys as well, like a Tyrese Maxey, has the chance to make a pretty big jump, but the guy I'm going to go with is Jalen Brunson. He just got a bag from the New York Knicks, and I think they're going to give him a pretty expanded role this season. I think being the lead ball handler, no longer behind Luka, I think he's going to go ahead and really show out. He averaged only 16 points per game this season. I would not be surprised if he averages a bit over 20 this upcoming season, around 21, 22, and if he's pretty efficient and the Knicks are decent, that should give him a pretty decent shot to win the award. So Jalen Brunson is my pick for the Most Improved Player. Like I said, there's also a lot of young guys who can make the jump, and there's always a role player or two who really make a leap that ultimately make kind of some case over the course of the year. But I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson. He got his bag, and now I think he goes out and snags Most Improved Player. Next, we're going to go to Rookie of the Year, and this is one I care about a lot this upcoming season, with Chet Holmgren being on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think he's got a pretty good shot to win it. Other candidates, of course, like Paolo Banchero, Jabari Smith, Jaden Ivey, I think could have a really good shot on that Pistons team, but I am going to go with Chet Holmgren for the Thunder. I think he's going to put up pretty decent stats between points, rebounds, get an assist here and there, and he might get a couple of blocks over the course of the season. So I think he's going to ultimately have a pretty good year, have a pretty good defensive impact, maybe a similar season to Evan Mobley, although a little less success in terms of team success. But I do think he impacts the game a lot. He really makes this Thunder roster better, improves people around him, and I think ultimately, as long as he puts up decent stats, he should have a pretty good shot to win it. So I am going to be biased and go with Chet Holmgren. Paolo Banchero, I think he fits in really well in that Magic system, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes and gets it, although having guys like Franz Wagner, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter, guys who are going to take a lot of shots, it might be a little bit tougher for him to get the numbers he needs. Where on the Thunder, it's just like Shai, Giddey, Chet, Dort, not as many mouths to feed right away. For the Rockets, you have Jalen Green, who's probably going to make a decent jump in scoring, and Jabari Smith is a guy who's more of an off-ball player, so it might be hard for him to really put up the numbers he needs. Jaden Ivey is my sleeper pick alongside Cade, but once again, they have Cade, they have Sadiq, they've got Isaiah Stewart, they've got some guys who are going to take the ball away a little bit more, so I'm going to go with Chet, but I think it's a pretty wide open race. I could see any number of guys winning it. If Keegan Murray goes out and has a great season 2 for the Kings and they have some success, don't sleep on him either as a pick. Next, we're going to go to Coach of the Year, and for this one, it's partially predicting team success. There's a lot of teams that I think are going to be really good this year. The Celtics, of course, going to the finals, and then ending up adding Malcolm Brogdon, so I think Ime Udoka is going to be there in the conversation. Steve Kerr probably with the Warriors, who are going to look to repeat in the West. Monty Williams, I expect the Suns to be really good again, but I'm going to go with Tyronn Lue. I think the Clippers are an early favorite for the championship in my eyes. They're a team that is going to go in and really wreak havoc. They're super deep. Of course, the problem is, can they stay healthy? But this is just going to assume that they do, and if they do stay healthy, I think Tyronn Lue is pretty widely regarded as as one of, if not the best coach in the league. And so if the Clippers go out and have a lot of success, Kawhi is able to play Paul George, their depth, they could be a team that could definitely snag the 1 seed in the Western Conference. So I'm going to go with Tyronn Lue for that award, getting some recognition that he very much deserves. Like I said, other guys like Ime Udoka, Steve Kerr, guys like that could definitely make a run for the award with pretty solid rosters, but I'm going to go with Tyronn Lue. Next, we'll go to Sixth Man of the Year. This is one that is pretty up in the air because it's hard to know exactly who's going to start and who's not on a lot of these different teams. We've, of course, got the repeat guy like Tyler Hero. He maybe will start, maybe won't. There's reports that he does want to start, but it depends if it fits in with the Heat, kind of the identity that they're looking for. Victor Oladipo, they did bring him back, so he could be the starter at the 2. They've still got like Max Strus, they've got Gabe Vincent, they've got guys that could take up spots in that backcourt. So I'm not sure if Hero will start or not, but if he doesn't, he's definitely an early favorite for this award. Jordan Poole, of course, is another guy who's definitely gonna make some noise in this award race, especially because I think he's gonna only continue to get better as he continues to grow in his career, learn from the Splash Brothers. He had a really solid season this past year. The playoffs, he was decent, but a little bit shaky, but I think he's gonna learn a bit from that experience, continue to get better, and so he will be an early favorite as well. Kevin Love had a great season for the Cavaliers this past year. He's up there too, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with Malcolm Brogdon for the Boston Celtics. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts, but the reports are, from what I looked up before this video, that they might use him as a 6-man. So this is, of course, dependent on if he actually is their 6-man. But a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, who can give you like 5-6 assists, like 15, 16, probably upwards of 18 points if he really starts to put the ball in the basket, do it efficiently as well. I think he's going to thrive in Boston. And if he's coming off the bench, I would be hard pressed to pick anyone other than him to win this award as of right now. I think the way that he's going to play, fit in with that team, provide offensive and defensive impact, do it efficiently as well. He's a guy that could go out and put up 50, 40, 90 if he really locks in. Malcolm Brogdon is going to kill it on the Celtics. And if he's their 6-man, he's definitely going to be my pick. For Defensive Player of the Year, there's a lot of names out there. Once again, we have like Rudy Gobert, who's now on the Timberwolves. He's a guy who's won it many times in the past few years. We've got Draymond Green on the Golden State Warriors, kind of a renewed viewpoint of him by many people as this great defensive player like he's always been. In the finals, he did kind of struggle offensively and a couple times defensively, so that may have hurt his reputation a little bit, which could end up hurting him. Guards now are getting more recognition, so maybe Marcus Smart could end up repeating, Drew Holiday, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, Jaren Jackson Jr. There's so many great defensive players. But I do think I'm going to go with Rudy Gobert for this award. He's won it already, I believe, 3 times. And now I think there's going to be a new spotlight on the Timberwolves. Last year, they were a really, really good offensive team, but their defense had a lot of struggles. There were a lot of times where they struggled to guard opposing bigs with Cat down low. Their perimeter defense was shaky at times. And so I think bringing in a guy like Rudy Gobert and the immediate defensive impact that he's going to make for that team, to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if the Timberwolves are one of the better defensive teams, especially against opposing bigs, because you have Gobert, you've got a lot of size with Cat at the 4 as well. They're a team that could make a leap in the standings as well to a top 4 team. And with all that spotlight on them after this trade, I think Gobert gets a ton of attention for the way that he kind of shifts that team. He's going to go ahead and get the award, continuing to build up his Hall of Fame resume as one of the greatest interior defenders of all time. And finally, for the MVP award, the big one, a million names come to mind immediately. Nikola Jokic could go for the 3-peat. You've got Giannis, you've got Steph Curry. John Morant maybe could try and make a push. Devin Booker, amongst others. LeBron James, maybe if the Lakers come out and maybe they trade for Kyrie Irving and they become a powerhouse again. Kawhi Leonard, if he plays a full season, he's never won that award. Jason Tatum is a name that I think you could also really take a hard look at. Tatum, if the Celtics are as good as they were the second half of the season, they go out and get a 1 seed. Jason Tatum is a guy that he's my sleeper pick to win MVP. I think he has all of the tools capable. It's a great roster. They could go out and get a 1 seed, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's him, if it's Luka Doncic. But I'm going to go with Joel Embiid. I think that after the past 2 seasons finishing second to Nikola Jokic, I think voter burnout is going to kind of get to Jokic a little bit, which is going to open the gate a lot more for Joel Embiid. And I think ultimately the voters, after the way that he's played these past 2 seasons, how he's been very very deserving of winning an MVP. He just happened to be behind Nikola Jokic. There was that first season where he missed some time as well. If he can stay healthy, I believe in the Sixers roster a lot. I like the pay cut that James Harden took to bring in PJ Tucker, who I think is going to be huge for Embiid, give them a little bit more defensive versatility, a great option to just shoot threes out of the corner off the double team. They can't double team off that corner anymore because PJ Tucker is going to knock down that jumper every single time if he gets it. They also brought in D'Anthony Melton. I just like a lot of the moves that they made. James Harden is hopefully going to be a little more back to his pre-injury form. He doesn't have to be the 30-point per game scorer, but I think he's going to be better than he was last season this upcoming year. Tyrese Maxey could make a jump. With all that combined, I think the Sixers are going to be really, really good this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a 1 or a 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. So I'm going to go Joel Embiid as my pick. He's been a guy who I think has been very deserving of an award. Just happened to, be behind Nikola Jokic, dealt with some injury issues. If he stays healthy, he is a early big name candidate to go ahead and win this award. And I'm going to go ahead and say that after 3 years or 2 straight years of finishing second, in that third year, I think Embiid finally finishes first and gets his MVP award. So those are my very early NBA award predictions. Let me know in the comment section below who your award predictions are as of right now for each of these spots. I'd love to hear what y'all have to say. I appreciate y'all watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy. I will see you all later. Real one, say it back.